Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Rough Stuff, the podcast where we make people dig up all their embarrassing stories from middle school and childhood and all those fun times. I'm your host, Bridget Greenberg, and I was once escorted out of a Ripley's Believe It or Not museum after having a panic attack.
Oh.
It's a dark one.
Good. And I'm Sarah Griffith, and I'm your co-host here, and my imaginary friend for the first 10 years of my life was Inspector Gadget.
And with us as our guest is graphic designer, illustrator, YouTube, Star Hodge.
Yeah. Hi. In middle school, I used to write and draw self-insert Sailor Moon fan fiction.
Self-insert? Oh, so you would... Okay,
I was
that's self-explanatory.
Her name was Sailor Kitty. She was from the planet Kitty. And she had an orange cat because Sailor Moon had a black cat and Sailor Venus had a white cat.
Yes.
And my character had an orange cat named Orbit, which is the name of my cat now.
I love that. Okay, what's the skirt? What color? What's the skirt? What's the uniform?
I had silver and black were my colors.
That's cool.
Yeah, because I was trying to be a little
cool.
edgy.
I remember playing this is me being a jock, I guess, but I remember playing a team that had silver and black uniforms, and they weren't that good, but I was super intimidated by them because it's honestly, those are the people.
I just felt like they ran out of colors because all the colors were taken.
Yeah.
I was just
and they ran out of planets too.
Yeah, I was just like, well, either...
They were done with the 10.
Well, the cats in the... This is me being a nerd. The cats in Sailor Moon are from planet Mao.
Yeah.
Because they're also cats that turn into people.
Right.
Which just is cat, so cat, planet cat. So I just changed it to Kitty because Kitty was cuter.
That's like the baby planet of the cat planet.
Yeah. So
right.
I was like,
so did you?
Oh, and I was Tuxedo Mask's long lost little sister.
Oh, I like that though. That fits the lore very well.
Yeah,
I would like to read this fan fiction.
Oh no, I don't. It's probably in some deep dark folder, but it was real bad. But yet, I still made sure that Sailor Moon and Tuxedo Mask were the heroes of the story. I just helped them, and I was just I really was important in the helping.
That's so heartwarming that you didn't make yourself the hero in your own fan fiction.
I couldn't because how could I mean she's the one.
You respected her too much.
Because in my Inspector Gadget fantasy, I was Penny because he's got the niece Penny. Mm-hmm. I was Penny's friend from school, and I was part of a junior police program, and I wanted to be a police officer when I was a kid because of Inspector Gadget. And so I completely understand you want to be a part of the world, but you want to respect the canon and the lore.
I didn't want to take
exists.
over because then it's I'm clearly not the Moon Princess,
right?
But I wanted to be a part of the family,
right?
And,
you respected and you loved the world,
and have friends with them.
Yeah,
and just kind of
you respected and loved the world, so you didn't want to break it, which.
Mind you, my character was still pretty much flawless because
you
do.
Of course. It would be weird if you're everything's the same. I'm just in this universe. You do this for your own ego a little bit. I assume.
Oh yeah,
I was cool, so I didn't do that.
I had other self-inserts for
I'm sure you were
super cool. The kid,
the Sailor Moon one was the main one. I had a Pokemon one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would do that after watching movies. I had a very active imagination. I still do, but I would always leave the movie being okay, who would I be in this movie and where would I fit in, and not who would I play in this movie, but where could I put myself into this movie?
Same. Oh yeah, I wanted to be. Here's the thing: middle school and particularly high school, I really wanted to be an anime character. I just wanted.
You wanted to be in the world.
I wanted to be in the world.
You wanted to be somewhere else that you liked.
Yeah. where no one picked on you. And if they did pick on you, they were clearly your friend and not the worst person.
I just made fun of you guys as someone who just admitted they got escorted out of a Ripley's, believe it or not, at 9. But yeah, I have a Catwoman obsession, and I remember after seeing Michelle Pfeiffer in Catwoman, I was like, this is who I am now.
This is it.
Yeah, just tried to pickpocket my brother all the time. I was not good at it. He was just stop.
Well, Sailor Moon was a big part of my growing up because I have Japanese family and I'm kind of Japanese.
I'm so jealous. My middle school version of me would have been tell me everything.
Okay, well, I'm your self-insert because I'm a quarter. So I'm barely, but I'm there.
You're hanging in there.
So Sailor, so I think when my sister and I got into Sailor Moon, my Obasa, my grandma who's from Osaka was hell yes, get the white kids into their heritage. And it was through like Sailor Moon that we like were obsessed. And then plus like I loved, well, of course, in the American dub, she's Serena Burusagi because she's a white Japanese girl like me, but also she's bad at math. And I was bad at math.
She was a big
yes,
klutz,
perfect.
a crybaby, which that's the part that I stuck to because I cried for everything. I was so hypersensitive to like everyone's feelings and just
what age
wanted.
Was this?
This was
or age ranges.
8th grade.
Right.
In
that's
particular.
a
time. Yeah.
Yeah. So around that time, so just highly emotional. I felt like everything I did was like wrong and I'm a big klutz and like that's the main character and in the end she saves the day and that show got me out of like that middle school kid depression because I started drawing because of that show. Like I drew before like here and there, but like actually owning like a sketchbook and like this is my thing and I'm gonna learn and figure this out. That's the show that did it. Yeah. And so it kind of launched my whole career.
I was going to say your fun is very in line of what you do now. Like I wouldn't, it's like not that shameful because it grew into something for you.
It's the one like highlight of my memories from back then of like, oh, I remember discovering this show and the first time seeing a cartoon in particular that had a continuous storyline where there was consequences for things. Mind you, there's a lot of filler. It's like a monster of the day. But whenever you hit a key plot point episode and it like characters discovered each other's secret identities, that never happened in American cartoons.
Early episodes where they're like, oh, so you're Sailor Mars and like you're like they're introducing.
Where like you got to like know they didn't keep it secret from each other. They talked to each other and were like supportive and nice and just
should have watched it. That's cool.
I'm like
you're turning me.
I'm like, oh my god, I'm forgetting and remembering now that like Sailor Moon was actually really formative for me as like a kid, and I remember going from like the schedule change from like a kindergarten schedule change to a first grade schedule change because it used to be on Toonami on Cartoon Network.
Oh man, you guys
like
are so much younger than me.
I'm so sorry. I know I said that thing about kindergarten. I was like, shit, I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's all right.
But I remember like being devastated because the reruns would come on when I was getting out of school. And by the time I got home, it was over. And I was like, God damn it.
I learned how to program a VCR because of that.
Oh my God, this show is so influential.
Wow, that really helped you.
I went on the internet for the first time because the show, they stopped airing it because American cartoons have a thing where they stop at 65 episodes. So for the U.S.
Did not know that.
Yeah, so most American cartoons, all of them, they end
like
at 65.
Children's cartoons.
It's syndication. That's
right, because The Simpsons obviously didn't end at 65.
Right.
So they'd only like licensed 65 episodes and like I think 64 or 65 like Tuxedo Mask and Sailor Moon break up. Like he dumps her for some reason.
That's where they leave it. I'm invested now. I didn't watch the show, but now
I think they're all on Hulu.
There was reasons, but dumb reasons. But there were reasons, and like it ended there, and then it restarted, and I'm like, what?
I am flabbergasted.
I called the station.
Wow.
The station had they must have been getting a lot because they had an automatic like answer for people saying that they only had 65 episodes. Like they explained it in the voicemail.
Oh, and I was like, how hard do you ride or die for this show that you call in, and then how many other people have had to call before you before they're like
the reason why I'm not
a
big Captain Planet fan because they replaced the time slot also with Captain Planet. What do you no? Because you might have coming home, you're like, I'm gonna pop in my VCR tape, and it's Captain Planet. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah,
I'm gonna litter right now.
Yeah,
screw you.
So I needed to know more. I needed to know what happened. So I went to like my middle school library, and this is 56K modem. There's the one computer. I was afraid of the internet because everyone was talking about how chat rooms will like
you'll die if you go in a chat.
You'll go in a chat room and they'll talk to you,
right,
and then you'll
kidnapped.
Be sucked in.
Yeah,
so,
you get kidnapped literally through your computer in those days.
I'm gonna go, and I sat at the. No one was in the library. I'm looking at the computer. And you hear the noise of all that
it's
shit.
a dial-up.
Oh my God.
And I like had a friend who was just like, go to web crawler. And I'm like, what is that? This is like pre-Google, webcrawler.com.
Ask Jeeves what happened.
I typed in Sailor Moon. I remember spelling sailor wrong because I'm not good spelling. And and all these like GeoCities and Angel Fire
Yes,
pages. There was a website called Save Our Sailors, SOS. That was a thing.
Shut up.
Yeah, there was a whole campaign to try to get more than 65 episodes, and I just discovered this whole. I learned about the other planets.
Yeah, you opened
that
up.
there were lesbian scouts. I was like,
Yes.
my little middle school mind was just like, what?
Or you just like did a deep dive into other people's fan fiction and you're
No,
like,
no,
oh,
there
I've
are.
been. Yeah.
There are. In the American version, like when they finally got those episodes, they made them cousins.
Yes, it was. They were like kind of the later editions. I say later. I mean, but yeah,
you
I
could tell
remember
when
that.
the dub because the voices changed, and those are the newer episodes. The campaign was successful. That's how it ended up on Toonami, which I didn't have cable, so I couldn't watch these.
Right.
So I was like,
Wow,
you
so
brought
I just
them, and I
want to say
couldn't do
thank
it.
you because your efforts
I
led
was
to me
letter
being
writing
able to
campaigns,
watch.
anything that was mentioned to Sailor. I went to my first comic book store, which
Ooh.
somehow I lucked out. It's oh wait, what was they were used to be called Superheroes Unlimited in Miami, Florida, but they have changed their name.
Was it Ollie's?
No,
Because I remember going to that one with my brother for
this
basketball
one
trading
is
cards.
in North Miami Beach.
Star and I both grew up in Miami. We were going to talk.
I was gonna say like by that 163rd Street Mall. You know that area?
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
There's a place called Superheroes Unlimited, but it's not called that anymore because Marvel and DC copyrighted superhero, and they had to change their names.
Oh my
so
God.
now it's Villains Incorporated because he was just like, well, fuck you.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
But Glenn, thank you, Glenn. He had bootleg copies of the missing Sailor Moon episodes
Jesus
in
Christ.
France and Japan, and the only deal was you had to bring in a blank VHS tape, and then he would just in
record it for you.
exchange just give you the missing episodes. And I felt like I was in some club, like I'm like in the secret knowledge of
I'm listening
of
to this
everything.
now, and this is like some Da Vinci Code shit. Like
It was-
you really went to the ends of the earth.
Early like late 90s anime before internet and everything like really kind of like helped was a crawl. Like you really had to like dig and find stuff. And
I
it was
also-
You should have
kinda
called me.
wonderful.
I could have gotten it straight from the damn source. Let me tell you.
Right.
Oh,
You
man.
could have got it. You could have gotten
just popped
straight from
across the
2003. Yeah, I do because we both grew up in Miami, and I feel like there wasn't a community for. I don't feel like it was a big. I didn't like. I wasn't exposed to any of it growing up. So you must have done a deep dive because Miami's not like a big nerd town.
it's not
You
a
know where to
nerd
look,
town at
Bridget.
all. Like
Yeah.
and
Because I know those comic book stores because my brother would trade sports cards, and then I did Pokemon like everybody else.
yeah,
and like
this
that's
was
the only reason I know them.
before like Barnes and Noble, before it became like a thing to like
Right.
really get
Yeah.
all the manga and everything.
It definitely went mainstream at a certain
As soon as
point.
people started like, oh,
Yeah.
we can make money off
But
of
even-
like
yeah.
girls reading comics. Oh, they
Right.
like this
kinda
Japanese
feel
shit.
like-
But even to this
okay.
day, Miami's not into that stuff. I go back. There's no comic book. Like I wasn't exposed
Do y'all
to
have
any
any
of it.
version of like a Comic Con or a Dragon Con or
There's
Wizard Con or
one
anything?
in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah,
that I
you
went
have to go
like,
out of
once,
Miami.
but it's
Wow.
not in Miami proper.
Yeah, it's not. There's no culture for
I don't
that.
know why I'm like surprised. Like I would never think of Miami as like,
it's-
oh, let me cosplay
It's
here.
a
but
melting pot of so many other cultures that I
Right.
think it's hard for like American nerd culture to like pierce through.
Yeah.
yeah, I can see that.
You know, I think that's how I always kind of
Right?
it
Yeah.
on.
And
I
how do
guess
you even
so.
have time for that when you're too busy like doing blow and
Yeah.
smoking cigars and
Just shouting
and
"Dale"
drinking out
on
of
the
small,
street.
very
Dale.
small coffee cups, a little bit of espresso.
That espresso is.
Oh my God, I miss it.
You cannot drink more than that tiny
That's
medicine
it?
Are you
cap
kidding
of
me?
it.
I used to drink like cups
I mean,
of
you
it.
would drink like a couple of the. You would.
I went through a
but
phase.
they're-
Was that
They'll
that would
make you
fuel
real
your Sailor
shaky.
Moon bender?
Yeah.
Those are like like they'll make you real shaky and twitchy. It's intense coffee.
Yeah, but I'm super grateful because otherwise middle school was just not a
Yeah.
pleasant
Where
time.
did you go to school?
I went
Did
to
you-
Brownsville Middle School.
Okay,
Is that
yeah.
public?
It's a public school. It's in the middle of Liberty City, which
Okay.
If you play GTA, you know how
You know
Miami's-
Liberty City.
You know how Miami's called Liberty City, like
Vice City,
and
yeah.
like that kind of like it's
Yeah, it's not the best part.
it's not a great part of
If
town.
you listen
If you have
to
to start with, if you know Grand Theft Auto, you know this part of the city.
yeah,
That
if
says
you
a
if
lot.
you listen to a lot of like again early 2000s rap, you would
Yeah.
hear Liberty City and Opelika dropped a lot.
Oh, yeah.
and those are two towns in Miami. That,
You're not going to hear anything about Villains Inc. and
Oh,
any
no.
Pitbull's
No,
not going
no.
to be like, dale.
and I used to like I mean I was a big old nerd and it's one of those things when I look back on it and I can't tell where the line was I really obnoxious and like awful,
right. Were you Liz Lemon in 30 Rock going back and
yeah
you're the
was
asshole?
I
or-
like I know I wasn't a bully because I was
Yeah.
very sympathetic because I was bullied a lot
right.
but I can't tell if I was bullied because of was I obnoxious and awful, or was I just like circumstance of things?
Were you different?
Yeah. Were you a shy kid at all?
Here's the thing. I used to not be. I used to
during this age, were you shy? Because I feel like shy nerds will. I feel like
I learned to be shy to like protect myself. Like, because I used to be the kid in elementary school. Like, I was in the plays. I was very outgoing. I liked having the attention on me.
Right.
And then like those, like that
because
transition
then you make yourself a
between-
target for the mean kids.
Yeah. As soon as like puberty started happening, because I was also a late bloomer on puberty, because I used to hang out in elementary school. I hung out with the boys because the boys would go climb things and do things. And I like doing that. And so and then in middle school, all of a sudden the boys got real weird.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't know how to talk to any of the girls because I was like, I don't know what's going on. And plus there's like race relations shit that's going on there too.
Yeah.
Because I'm mixed and like and I went to inner city schools, so there's like this whole mix of like, well, you don't act black. I got a lot of that growing up.
Yeah.
Which at the time, it's like at the time I remember just being like, well, okay. Well, I will hang out with you anyway. And I hung out with like the Hispanic kids because I looked like them and they were like, yeah, come along. It's fine.
We'll take you.
And of course, looking back now, I'm like, well, were they picking on me? Because I got a lot of preferential treatment from teachers and things like that. Like I was a big teacher's pet and a nerd. Like I was very goody-goody. Like,
and did they think that because you didn't look black? But
looking back, I'm wondering like, well, I wonder if I got special privilege from the teachers because I am light-skinned.
Right.
And didn't act like stereotypical, blah, blah, all that stuff. So it's a mix where it's just like, well, yeah, of course you're not going to be fond of me if you're getting treated like shit.
That's,
you know, like, but there's no way for me to really tell.
It's,
you know,
I feel like
in the end, everyone's just miserable.
Yeah.
Because no one's getting treated well and no one understands what's going on and we're all hitting puberty.
Yeah,
and
you're very emotional and
just...
You hate your parents and everybody, and no one understands you, and and then there's all this other
so there's
stuff on top of it.
Society and also like just being a kid, and
it's
you're
just
what is going on?
It's a perfect storm of just terrible
shittiness.
Shitstorm.
Yeah, I learned to just kind of. That's when I became a little bit more introverted and like just nervous about.
Yeah, rehashing your own nerdiness is tough because like thinking back on situations where like I might have been ostracized or something. It was just like, I was probably obnoxious. I probably was trying too hard to be funny because I didn't figure out my personality yet. And like, I probably deserved a little bit of that.
Was I me? I know I was a brat about grades. Like I had a thing. I was very much, I did judge people based on their grades. I knew I was that person.
Okay.
Like
were you top student? Were you like easily best in the class?
Yeah. Oh, so that was also that too. Like I said, I was a teacher's pet and I liked getting good grades. It made me feel real good.
You're hiding stuff from us who made yourself seem innocent, but no, you were.
There's that, then that aspect is there.
Yeah.
Like even like if I had a crush on a boy, if I found out he had like C's, I was just like, never mind.
Oh.
Like I was like very like grades were, because that was the only way I could like, I guess in my head that's the only way I could figure out if someone is like a good person, which is dumb.
Yeah.
Real dumb.
Do they study real hard?
Yeah, because that's also like, I mean, that's what my mom implanted in my head was just like, you get good grades, you're going to do good.
Yeah.
Like that's what happens.
To be entirely fair for you, as like an adult, if I was interested in a guy and I found out he had like a shitty job, that would impact how I think of him.
See, now I'm kind of like, are you a good person?
You elitist
though? Like you can have a shitty job.
Well, I mean, like,
but
it's
are you
like if you're not applying yourself,
right?
I think that's what it really translates to. Like, I don't care if you work at like, you know, maybe not such a favorable job, but if you're trying to get out, you know, like it's about like, are you applying yourself? And so like jobs is kind of how we judge that now, but like back in the day it was grades.
For me, at least. I just go, I'm like, can you take care of yourself? It's really like, you can have a shitty job.
You
like,
12-year-old, can you take care of yourself?
Well, as an adult, like judging men, I guess I'm like for a dating prospect. I just picture can you take care of yourself? Like, I don't care like what your job is, but like, are you like okay? And can you take care of yourself? It doesn't have to be great or great paying. Just, are you a functional person?
Can you cook a chicken?
Yeah, like
are you in this job because like, hey, that's how you make money, or this is your career? I
don't care either way on that. As long as it's like, are you good though as a person? Like maybe you hate your job, but you have like a great like social life that you're really happy about.
I'm currently also looking for a sugar daddy, so like maybe my opinion doesn't really matter on this.
So everybody holler at Sarah if you're a sugar daddy. Call a hotline
at SK Griffith. Show me your bank statement.
Credit
Please
scores.
Please don't do that.
Send Sarah your credit reports.
But I've settled on it must have been a mix where like me being obnoxious in the nerdiness aspect of it, and also everyone is like shitty in middle school. Like I got picked on for not wearing Nike shoes.
Oh my God,
like they were. Did you ever get the Bobos thing? Like, oh, you're wearing Bobos?
Oh yeah.
I was wearing Bobos because my mom was like, why are we buying name brand shoes? But I was getting picked on it so much for it that like I begged her. I'm like, please, like
Bobos are like just knocked off name brand Nike shoes.
Yeah, like just anything with a Nike check. I don't care. And like she took me to the Mervyn's back in the day, and we just found like a pair of like $25 plain regular sneakers. They weren't like, Air Jordans or anything fancy, but they had a Nike check on it.
That's all that matters.
To God, they left me alone about the shoes. They only cared about like a little swoop.
It's because like, I'm thinking back on it and I feel terrible about saying this, but we're airing out our laundry.
I just said that I judge a man based on his job. So I'm clearly exposing myself as a shitbag.
When I think about it, and when I think about who like I thought the nerds were when I was growing up, and I was for sure one of them. I just had a big head. They were always like the nerdy kids who were like too outgoing of like your first day of school. Let me show you around and where all the lockers were. And like they were just trying to be nice and like wanted a friend. And they're like, here's a new person.
I was like that in the beginning, and then I just learned real quick not to be that person just because I'm like, oh no, that exposes me to the things.
And you're just trying to be nice, but you don't quite have the social skills.
And learning how to draw seemed to also like, I think that's inherent confidence, but also it's a skill that no one picks on people who can draw.
I know, and
everybody wants
to be able to draw.
Everybody wants somebody to draw them. Like I noticed, like my bullies kind of backed off when they were like, "Can you draw me?" And I just feel like, "Here you go." Yeah. And they'd be like, and they'd leave me alone because there was a point in middle school I was having food thrown at me.
Jesus.
No.
Oh yeah. Like the lunch was like the worst because you'd go in, I'd get my food, and then I would try to go sit with my classmates. And there was a moment where I would sit, put my food down, and at least all the girls anyway, they'd all get up and go sit at another table.
That's messed up.
That's like a movie.
Yeah, and I was just like, and here's what's embarrassing about it is it's like I didn't click on why. I just thought we were all getting up and going to another table. No. So I went to the next table with them, and they did it again, and I was just like, okay.
Wow. I don't mean to call a bunch of 13-year-old bitches, but what bunch of bitches?
That's I don't want to praise them because that's messed up, and what I said earlier was messed up. My views then are different now. But the organization that takes for a group, how many were there?
It was about 5 girls.
That's organization.
I don't remember their names. I don't remember their names because I was just like I repress a lot.
Because
when I was prepping for this show, you were like, think of all your things. I'm like, all right, here we go.
Yeah, it's a lot of discovery on this show. I think.
I'm sure that's happened to me, and I
know what they look like.
Yeah. No one had the balls to get up, though. Having the balls to get up and leave. One of the girls had
the very 90s. She brushed her hair all the way to the top, and she had like
the tall ponytail.
Was it scrunchy?
With the big hoop earrings and very dark brown lipstick, which I ended up buying dark brown lipstick
with the lip liner.
That was cool. Yeah,
the lip liner,
the high eyebrows.
Yeah.
So you went to the Heather school, basically.
Well, no, that's a very Miami. The chongas.
Yeah, it was a very Miami look. Then there was another girl who looked like me. Like we were in the same like dark skin, curly hair, but she always kept it in a ponytail.
Right, super gelled.
Yeah, super gelled.
Like
but the ponytail was puffy.
Yeah.
And like me and her generally had similar looks because Miami humidity was just
you can't deal.
And there was another girl who like she was very pale, long like wavy black hair, Latina, but like had glasses. And I remember she just had like the pointiest nose because I really liked her nose shape. I was like, and those are the 3 main ones. And then there was like 2 others who were kind of like scragglies that I don't really remember too much.
Jesus,
I don't want to say I respect it, but about getting up because I've definitely like sat on tables and like the vibe changed to a more hostile one, but no one ever left.
I could never be that
so I
mean.
never,
Like,
after that moment,
outwardly.
I never ate in the cafeteria again. So what I would do, because they had a spill out area, which is where it was like you eat and then you go out and it's just kind of like this caged area where like the kids would hang out. You're like, well, we can't let them roam, so here you go.
I also feel like it's important to mention, in at least Miami, all the campuses are outdoors for high school. You're never in a building. You're outside a lot. I don't know.
This one,
were you inside? I had one school that I was inside but
it was kind of like apartment buildings in a sense, where it was
exactly.
like not,
was like a
not fully enclosed. There's a lot of courtyards.
Yeah, there's courtyards.
Yeah,
that's
too.
Yeah,
And
I feel like people are always shocked when I say that, like the campus is outside.
Oh,
like you
yeah.
hang out outside.
Yeah, because it's hot.
Yeah.
And so, but so
It's hot and it rains, so
I used to
we're
hang out
outside
in the
all the
spill
time.
out area
Right.
instead. I'd eat my food real quick, go out into the spill out area, and just kind of like hang and try to find like the boys that I would talk to. But they would drastically shift moods so much that it was always like a wild card. Like I didn't, because again, I hit puberty kind of late in that sense. Like I didn't know that what they were going through.
Yeah.
It was different for them now.
Yeah. And so like, but I also remember sitting out there, and at some point, like these were like older kids too. They started throwing like sunflower seed shells at me.
Oh.
Because I was just sitting there and I was just like, what is this? And like, I realized what was happening and I was like, okay. So because I wasn't going to like talk to boys who were throwing food at me.
Right.
So I went to the security guard and I was like, maybe this will work. And I remember asking him like, can I just go to the library? And like, they looked like he like knew me enough that I was like, okay, you're not one of the kids that is going to cause trouble. And so every day after lunch after that, I would go to the library, and that's how I got on the internet. And that's what like started my internet addiction.
Wow.
Because I was like, well, I have a sanctuary here. And then following years got into Sailor Moon, and then didn't make friends in my grade, but made friends with, it was one of the few years where this middle school transitioned from, it used to have a 9th grade, even though that's typically freshman high school. But this school had a 7th through 9th grade. And then when I became an 8th grader, it was the last year that they were going to have a 9th grade class.
Oh.
So I became friends with the 9th graders and the incoming 7th graders.
Okay.
And so my friends were younger than me and older than me, and it was the goths in the 9th grade because they stuck out like, in this school.
Yeah.
Super chill.
Because it's an inner city black school, and there were goths, and I was
then
like,
you just
guys.
see the whitest white people you've ever seen in
Yeah,
your
and
life.
they introduced me to Skechers and Vans and patches,
God.
and like
I'm wearing Vans right now,
they were
baby.
so much nicer to me. Love them. And then like the itty bitty boys in the younger grades,
right before they started
like,
getting weird.
Yeah, they weren't getting weird yet, and they were really cool and like talking about Dragon Ball and Sailor Moon.
Right, and they do things because like goths don't do stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
so you
So
can
those
still
were
like
my,
get
I
it.
know.
my
they
two
don't do
ranges. So
anything.
like 8th grade, like later, once I found my like niche and like art, became tolerable.
And then did it get better like through high school?
Yeah, because high school, then I found like the other like nerds.
I'm bullying you as we're doing this, and I feel
it was
bad
super
about
sad.
it.
It was super sad.
But
I do feel like high school, the pool of like who you can hang out with opens up drastically.
Yeah.
Because like people get a little bit more into like, okay, there's like more than just like 2 things to do. I can identify more than just like 3 ways.
I was in a magnet program too. In high
Yes, I went to a
school.
magnet school.
So you were stuck with
I
the same
almost
group
did.
of nerds. Because we were all there who
What-
weren't
right.
supposed to be in the school.
What-
We were all like segregated from the rest of the student body for the most part.
Can I ask what magnet school?
The Miami Northwestern, and I was in the medical magnet, not the arts magnet, because they have an arts magnet.
Yeah.
I tried to be in both; they wouldn't let me. So I picked the one that was like, "What's a better career plan?"
That's it. Because I almost went to MAST, which is a magnet school.
I applied to Mass too.
Yeah, and I almost went for science. Instead of art too, which looking back is strange because I
That's our
cannot.
parents going,
Yeah.
please don't go into art.
Well, I was super into space, and I was like, I'm gonna be an astronaut, and that was my nerdy fantasy. I would always play like astronomer, like and pretend that NASA
Well,
was
I am the one here that
calling
went to
me.
an
So
arts magnet. I
you
made
went-
it
yeah.
out.
Oh, that's
did it.
Went to
awesome.
performing arts school.
yeah,
And
so you were
performing
never
visual.
bullied.
No, not terribly too much. Well, because I was also like outgoing and like my middle school was actually pretty good because people were nice. Like when you
That's
said, like,
so rare. That's
weird.
crazy.
well, I mean,
Maybe it's Miami. Maybe
There was
Maybe
I think
it's
there was
Miami.
definitely bullying under the table, but never like people stand up and leave. So because I feel like in my middle school there were like 2 brands of nerds. There was like quiet, hang to themselves nerds. So like we don't talk to them, they don't talk to us, whatever. And then there's asshole nerds.
you just sound like the popular girl with that one.
Oh really?
They don't talk to them. They don't. And they're just like all with their notebooks. I just want to talk to Sarah so bad today.
What really like changed the game for me, and thank God, I found out I was funny early, and my parents were funny, and they encouraged me to be funny.
That was a curse for me. When I found out I was funny, I was just the most annoyed because I didn't know how. So I didn't know how to control it. So I was just trying everything, and it did not work for me.
So like I was picked on for being short and being one of the boys in elementary school, and then I learned quickly, if you make fun of yourself first, no one else can make fun of you.
Yeah, that's helpful.
So I slid into all of it with like self-deprecating humor. So by the time I got to middle school, I was like cool with like most people because I was funny.
Yeah.
And I was nice enough.
Good lesson to learn.
I was like nice enough to just like interact with people and just be like, we're all cool. But like there were asshole nerds. So like, we made fun of them because they were pricks.
Yeah.
Like,
when you're an asshole, it's fair game. Because
they were like comic book guy nerds. Like, you really think that? And it's like, shut up.
I feel like throughout high school, I was cool adjacent because I was funny. Like the cool kids would let me hang out with them. I like hung out with them and went to their parties because they're like, she's fun to have around. By the time I figured it out,
I was the clown.
But in middle school, it was weird. I was also like I would only like wear my brother's hand-me-downs, and I was like such a tomboy, and like my vibe was all over the place, and there was nothing grounding me to earth.
Yeah. And like this is true of me too. Like I also heavy commit to things. Like when I like something, I let everyone know, and I heavy commit. And so like if you commit hard enough to whatever weird thing you're into, eventually people just accept it. So like if I'm at a bar and I put on Africa by Toto, everyone's like, well, this is what she's going to do.
I mean, I don't think anybody thinks it's cool, but...
Oh, everyone thinks it's cool. Are you crazy? That's how hard I've committed to it. I just know everyone thinks it's cool.
I think people respect it. Like, because I committed to the anime thing, and all of a sudden, middle school was better.
Yeah.
And then high school.
Well, you can find your niche from there. You're like,
when you're young, that's a hard thing to learn to just like because I mean the lesson really is don't worry about what other people think.
Yeah.
Like just do the thing you like to do and like forget everyone else.
Yeah, because even if people make fun of me for it, I was just like, but I like this thing. This thing makes me happy, so I'm gonna keep liking this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then people were like, oh, so she likes that thing. So okay.
Eventually you just wear people down. They're like, hey, that's fine.
This is on brand. You do.
Sarah writes the Office fan fiction. It's just let her do her thing.
I'm
like, leave her alone.
I wish I had developed a better sense of humor and timing, because I don't consider myself like a funny. Like I don't make jokes. I'm not a funny. Person. I don't.
Yeah, I'm saying like I agree. You're an entertaining person.
Well, I just wouldn't like. I hope I'm pleasant, but I'm not like...
Right, you wouldn't characterize yourself as a comedian.
No, not at all. And it's because I don't... Like, I have a hard time with sarcasm.
Yeah.
Unless you're really blatant about it, it'll slip over my head. Yeah. And so as a kid,
that's everyone's first attempt at comedy is sarcasm.
And so I take things literally. A lot of people will do hypotheticals and like bring up situations, and I'll just take it at face value and try to answer it like as
so
you're
if
being
we were
serious.
on the moon right now, okay, you would be a great improviser then.
Seriously.
I would just stop and think about it. I wouldn't be on the fly.
Well, you couldn't breathe if you were on the moon without a space helmet. So do we have space helmets?
Yeah.
Well, who sent us there? Was this a government agency or private?
No. Yeah. So I remember somebody like this was like college though. They were like, you like kill jokes, right? And I was just like, what? I was like, what do you mean? They're like, yeah, like a lot of time when people are like talking and telling stories and stuff, they're not being literal about it, or they're trying to just tell a joke, like you're like interrupting the joke, and I'm like.
See, I feel like I have the opposite thing. I think it's still confusing because someone will say something to me that sounds ridiculous, and then I'll start doing a bit, and they're not doing a bit, and so it just sounds like I'm a crazy person. Or you just get stuck and you don't have a relationship with the person outside of like, you're doing a bit and it's going and you can't get out of this, and how do we end this conversation like
that is
two human
small
beings?
Talk, and you're like, oh yeah, well, and then it's like.
I had a person in college that I would like dart the other way down the street if I saw him, because I was like, I can't do bits right now. I need to get to class, and like it will stop, and it's just exhausting.
See, that sounds amazing.
No, it's not.
No, it's
because it's not a real relation. Like you're not friends with that person. That's just how you small talk with them.
It's not funny. It's not funny anymore. Like after like the first like back and forth, it's like, this was great. And then the I experienced this at work.
Yeah.
Like that's like a classic office kind of situation where it's like, you and I were like finger pointing, or like, oh, you and I we talked about football that one time, and so now every time I see you, I gotta ask. And football season's not happening right now, but god damn it, I gotta bring it up.
Is it weird that I'm reading this? I'm like, but this is like normal human interactions. That's like, sounds like fine.
Yeah, but normal interaction sucks. Like, that's the trap. You think that's the status quo, but that fucking blows.
I was like, that means people like think
I'd
you're
rather
likable.
I'd rather talk about Sailor Moon than
something.
Shit.
Well,
we're just looking for something real, man.
I hold back a lot of like my obsessiveness about the things that I'm into.
Oh my god, join me.
Because when I'm into it, the fear and the thing that I'm used to, like, and this is again stuff I've just learned over time, to recognize that look when someone kind of glazes over because you're talking about a thing.
I'm familiar with that look. I'm familiar.
Yeah.
And you're like, but then sometimes you can't stop because you're like, I'm already like halfway deep.
Have you ever seen your parents do it? It hurts so bad when like you're talking to like when a parent does it.
I had to listen to some shit.
Yeah. I just had to stop because she would like,
my
bless
mom,
her heart, she just did not.
My mom doesn't take it anymore. She's like, I don't want to hear. Yeah, exactly. In support, it's just like, shut up. I get that people find this entertaining, but I do not.
It's my mom doesn't get most of the internet stuff, but she likes to listen. Like this episode, I'm going to link it to her because she won't be able to find it, but I will send it. You have to. Yeah, I will send it to her, and she'll probably say like, "Don't talk about bad stuff." And I'm like, "It's okay, that's a
classic." I mean, it's fun to look back on sometimes. Like now that you have distance and time, it's not as hurtful. I remember I've mentioned before, but I went to a prep school, so people were especially mean. And we had this thing in 7th grade. Everyone was so deeply mean, and we were known as like one of the cattiest classes to come through, that our guidance counselor decided, all right, every Thursday at lunch, we're going to do this thing for the 7th grade girls where you can come into a big conference room and we're just going to talk about our feelings. And it's called Girl Talk. And it was the last 30 minutes of lunch.
Where's that podcast? Can I say? I would love to hear 7th grade girls air out their grievances.
We look...
you know what? I would listen to that.
Oh, God.
Next episode. Do you know any 12-year-old girls?
I can still call up and do Girl Talk, and everyone who was in it will know and come running because it became so exclusive, and it was like, only these group of girls go. Wow. And it was just a shit storm. It was just like, everyone cried by the end of it.
Did you have slam books?
We had, not at our school, once Gossip Girl came out. It became a thing.
I literally thought that was like something that TV made up until I went to college. I'm really fortunate. Like the schools I went to were actually pretty cool, and then I went to college, and then I found out that was real. Yeah. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you went to the Fame High School where everything was cool.
Well, you went to a weird happy school.
But even my middle school, though, like, I mean, we were just happy-go-lucky kids.
It was cutthroat, especially Girl Talk was just like everyone cried. The guidance counselor cried once, and it got shut down after like. I think we did it for like a month, and then they're like, this is too much. Slam books, Gossip Girl was a huge thing because we went to a prep school and we're like, those are us. I'm Blake Lively,
right.
13-year-old with like braces. And I remember just thinking like, I don't look like that. Why am I not Blake Lively? But the school next at Crop. If you Crop started one.
I remember Crop.
And then it got shut down real quickly.
So slam books were banned in our middle school, but they always existed.
They were. They're always banned the minute they're because ours was on the internet.
Online.
We did have a MySpace page for gossip.
Ours were actual like notebooks that people would write. Each page had somebody's name on it, and then the book would go around. Everybody would write what they thought about that person.
Shit.
I would kill to get my hands on that book if I was a kid.
I saw one and I saw myself and I was just like, I can't. So I tried to make a nice slam book. Where instead of putting people's names, I would just ask questions like, what's your favorite thing or things like that. And of course, like the teacher caught mine and looked at it and was just like, oh, never mind. You big dork. And but I only got like 4 people to fill out my slam book, which was because I tried to make it nice.
It was
you're better than most of us.
It was like a weird questionnaire. It was kind of like a BuzzFeed quiz thing before it became a thing.
Well, Star, I think you're better than most of us. Clearly than me, because I kind of bullied you throughout this whole thing.
Here's the thing. I'm so like that's like such a. I was like, this is how people treat you. That's how people are.
No, it shouldn't be. But Star, let's wrap it up before I like just become the dude from Karate Kid.
Before we throw you into a locker somewhere.
For me, this is like great interaction though. This is how we are. It's
Bridget
fine.
now completely supports you then, but Bridget then would not
we
have.
would probably not gotten along.
No, I'm ashamed of it though. You were a better person than me, and tell everyone where they can find you now,
so they can bully you online.
Sure. Twitter.com/StarlineX, pronounced Starline X, but spelled Starline X.
Cool. You can find me personally at Bridget Tweets on Twitter. You can find this podcast at Rough Stuff Pod all over the internet. Mm-hmm. And yeah, if you're on it and listening to it and haven't thrown Small Beans a couple bucks yet and can, please do so.
Yeah, that's good. And I'm at SK_Griffith, and you can feel free to bully me there.
Yeah.
I'll bully you right back at this point. I'm at the age. Fuck you.
So Tess Sarah.
Please, I'll slam you so hard. I'm hilarious. I'll roast the shit out of you.
So there's your open.
There's going to be a Small Bean slam
So
book.
send me, okay, this is what I want on my Twitter. Your income, your credit score. I want to see what money you got back.
If you have money, date Sarah. If you just want to be mean, front.
Fuck you. There you go.
Right. See you guys next time.
This has been a Small Beans endeavor. We're a bunch of pals who make podcasts, sketches, music, web series, and movies. The Beans always have new ideas percolating, so make sure to check us out at patreon.com/smallbeans. That's patreon.com/smallbeans, where you can browse all of our current and past content, see what we've got planned in the future, and learn how your support can help the Small Beans grow into huge, giant monster beans. If you enjoyed this content module, please like, rate, subscribe, or tell a friend about us. We love you!